Good morning. It is Passion Week, as we call it, because Friday is Good Friday and Sunday is Easter, and so we're sitting near the cross.
This is our passion tea.
This is our symbol, the amazing symbol of the cross, and so it's called Passion Week because, man, there's a lot of emotion. And, there's the excitement of Palm Sunday that you led us through on Sunday. We'll review that in a minute. And then there's the kind of the crash of Friday and just this terrible death of Jesus, the Messiah. You're supposed to come in and be a king. And then just,
Well, but first, depressing Saturday.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Oh, yeah,
it's
because
just the super crash.
This is the Sabbath day.
Yeah.
You're not doing, but what are you, and then
just
Sunday.
Nothing, and then Sunday.
And the surprise for the first, we're going to talk about that a little on Sunday too. There's just a surprise. For us, we're like, yay, but they weren't like, yay at first. They're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Where is he? And so.
And even sometimes we forget kind of that confusion of Thursday, right? That you're sitting around this table and Jesus is almost talking in code almost.
Yeah. Peter, you're going to deny me.
Peter, you're going to deny me.
The one who's betraying me, and what? What's going on?
Judas, go do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I have always wondered, how do they not get it? Jesus calls them out right there. And they're like, oh, what? Right? He's like, you will.
Yeah. The one who dips his bread
their level of confusion has always confused me.
And yet I also wonder, were they wanting to maybe talk with Jesus more privately after that, but they didn't really get the time?
Well, no, it was late and they were sleepy.
Yeah, and why was he so intent on having them stay awake and pray? Well, we've prayed here before, probably, So, it was so Passion Week, and that's what we're in the middle of, so... But looking back, you guys, my chair keeps turning, but you guys,
Jeff, I think that's
and my feet are too small. I can't reach the
That's a sermon illustration of, you keep having to turn to the cross.
It's true. It's pushing me to the cross, which is awesome. I wish that, I was naturally inclined to do that more readily all the time, but he's working on me.
Palm Sunday.
Anyways, thank you. Palm Sunday, you guys kind of led us through. I was away, so can you maybe tell us a little bit about Nicodemus? You gave a lot of information about Nicodemus. Can you boil it down? Here's what the main, tell us what you want to tell us right now.
Well, I think what's great about Nicodemus and the thing to remember is that, kind of like with the disciples, it's really easy to get frustrated and go, why are you guys so thick-headed? Why don't you get it? When Jesus turns to you and says, you're going to betray me, Peter, why does he not seem to understand? I think Nicodemus shows us that transformation takes time. And it's a slow process as he navigates his complex world while trying to answer the questions in his heart. And so two things come for me when I just look at, kind of zoom out and look at Nicodemus. One is understand and expect that, spiritual transformation is a process and it takes time for everyone. How often do we want to just meet with someone for coffee and expect that to be the thing that just changes their life forever? And it's just another step.
Yeah, why can't I tell my kids one time? And then they just know it, right?
I don't know what you mean, Jeff, because my kids always listen on the first time.
And I know my parents thought the same thing, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm certain that Father God also thinks the same thing. I put it in the Bible. I read it once. Why don't you get it?
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I think it gives, it highlights the need to pause and have patience with myself, have patience with others. But I also think it shines a light on, or his life shines a light on the fact that he actually was able to find Jesus authentically because he didn't prejudge, unlike the world he was in, right? That religious leading class that he was a part of was pretty quick to just sort of write Jesus off. Oh, he is this. And didn't actually, where he adopted a different posture, right? He kind of came to Jesus as a questioner. Okay, are you the one? Explain this to me. And I think that we probably could reflect on times where making assumptions have got in the way of us actually finding what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a place to start as we think through, like, what is the life of Nicodemus impact for us today, is that idea of, okay, we make assumptions and that gets in the way of us actually finding what we need to find.
Yeah, we make assumptions about what the Bible's actually saying without reading the context and figuring out, oh, maybe, we make assumptions of what it's there for, to answer our questions. Actually, it raises its own questions that we need to, right? It has its own agenda that we get in line with, rather than, why isn't it telling me what I want to know about? Those are some assumptions that come to my mind.
Those are related, right? Because I think the spiritual tradition I grew up in steeped me to believe that the Bible is written to answer my questions. So it's a self-fulfilling thing in that I should come to Scripture open to understand, okay, Spirit of God, what are you trying to reveal to me here? But instead it's, I want to know this, so I'm going to look for a passage that speaks to it, or right? But that's how, so I think that, I would say that Nicodemus could have come to Jesus with all of the background of the religious tradition that he grew up in and was perpetuating, but instead he came in a different way.
Yeah.
And we often all come to Jesus, and I don't mean this in a values-based way. We all come with the baggage of our tradition that we grew in. Unless you're brand new, never heard of faith at all, and just somehow, dropped into a church from never having heard of anything religious in your life. But that person would be a unicorn, right? That doesn't exist.
But then you have different baggage. But yes, exactly.
So we all come with our what we often call worldview. But then how do we find Jesus without that setting the tone?
And even with that, it allows us to see the fact that Nicodemus actually opens the door for the question of what if.
Yes.
What if this guy actually is the Messiah?
Yeah.
Right? Because it seemed like, for the most part, a lot of the Jewish leaders just kind of closed that door quick. Yeah. Right? No, he's just some guy. Galilee.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly. Right? But the what if he, and what if there is something that needs to be not necessarily added to the Old Testament scripture, but fulfilled.
Yes.
Right? And as he looks more at this man who, like you said, is like a prophet, priest, and king, right? Like it challenges me to actually even just say, okay, what if Jesus actually is possibly leading me in this direction, right? It opens that door a little bit more, which I think is what I think Jesus is getting at, especially through Mark, but also through that as well too, where with that sense of certainty, the Pharisees and religious leaders had absolute certainty, and there is no question, and this is the way it is because we always read it, and this is the way it's taught, right? But to even just open that door to ask questions, what if, right?
Yeah, that's I don't know. It's taken me a long time to grapple with, or really even understand that this was something that God's been kind of revealing to me slowly, but puts words into it, like the idea that the Bible isn't there to answer all my questions. Yeah. It's got its own agenda, and that, like you with your what if and everything that we're talking about, we tend to come to Jesus for what we want, and the process of Him transforming us is to become who He wants us to be in His world, in His kingdom. Yeah. And in that process, becoming less about me, more about Him, but in the process, finding real life. And it doesn't sound good. I don't like that sound. Like, that I can't pursue the things I like, or that it's not about me pursuing the things that I like, or, I want to get done my work so I can do this. I want to put in my Christian stuff so I can feel good, and that's not His agenda.
Well, and Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's not his agenda. I think one of the things that comes to mind in that is we find so much security in certainty and in having answers and in knowing.
Yeah.
And we see that in the Gospels again and again. Jesus, tell us what's going to happen. How do
Yeah.
we, what's going to come? What's going to come? What's going to come? And he just, does he ever answer them with this is what's, he gives, and we're getting, I think when you get back to Mark, we're going to get into this, he gives super veiled, coded answers.
Yeah.
Either he doesn't answer, he says, you know what, that's not for you. Or he gives an answer that we today go, what? What is this about?
Yeah.
We don't get it. And I think that's the point. Learn to be okay with not getting it.
He is making followers of Jesus. Followers aren't the ones in charge, right? They're not the ones at the wheel. They're not the ones knowing where they're going. They're the ones following the leader, trusting that he knows where they're going.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point. Huh.
Well, we did some hiking in the woods when I was on the island just a couple weeks ago with my kids and a niece, one of my nieces and two of my nephews. And watching these young, they're not all kids, some of them are teens, watching them try and follow from the front. It's like, hey, bud, where are you going? It's like, oh, this is the trip. No, we're going to go over here. Oh, okay. It doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have kids lost in the woods.
That's a really good visual. Yes.
Right?
We try to lead Jesus.
Right.
And he's like,
yeah, no, I'm over here. or we haven't like been we're so far in, like he's not behind us. He's gone somewhere else because that's where he is.
Yeah.
And I think too in that the freedom to ask that what if question is, I think, foreign, unfortunately, to how a lot of people have understood what religion and Christianity especially is, because we feel threatened by that, or we feel like I'm not being faithful to Jesus if I ask questions.
Yeah.
And I think actually the people who in the Gospels we see the most faithful to Jesus keep asking questions. They ask him every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes we look and go, that is the dumbest question on the planet. Are you kidding me? You want to have a place, you're asking Jesus to be glorified? Like what? They ask all kinds of questions, and he continues to love them. He continues to call them his followers. He even calls them friends. And they ask ridiculous questions. So I think we should be okay to do so.
Yes. I don't want us to think we ask ridiculous questions. But I know what you're saying. We're okay to ask the questions we have.
Yeah.
And realize that he might not be about answering our questions, right?
That's I think the vulnerable risk we make, right? Where we just go, okay, here's my question. We might sit with that for a long time.
Yep.
Like, why did he make spiders?
Well, mosquitoes, I think, are even worse. But I don't like spiders either.
Just makes no sense, right? They just do their thing. Pointless.
Yeah. Huh. Well, hopefully that gives you some things to ponder this as we continue through the week. We always want the passage that we look at Sunday, well, 3 passages, because we looked at Nicodemus, at the 3 times he showed up. But the passages we look on Sunday are not just for Sunday. They're for the whole week. And hopefully you're reading beyond that in other places in the Bible. But that'll give you some food for thought. Looking forward, Kevin, tell us what's coming up.
Yeah, so this comes out on Thursdays, and so it'll come out on Monday, Thursday. And so hopefully you're watching it within that day. And so Good Friday, this Friday at 10 a.m. at Emmanuel Church, we're going to be gathering as a larger West Side evangelical community and just praising God and kind of focusing in on the message of Good Friday and looking at the resurrection of Jesus, not the resurrection, the death of Jesus, and sharing communion together. And it's going to be really good. It's funny that like those are the words that I say, and I finish with oh, it's going to be so good, right? Like
Good Friday.
Because it's Good Friday, of course.
We're going to look at death. We're going to look at how terrible it was, and we're going to finish on a terrible note of, right? And that's actually kind of the point. Is I always heard that when you finish Good Friday, even to say Saturday is for reflection, right? That like you go away and you ponder and you consider, and then that makes Sunday all the better. So then, Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, we're going to be gathering together, and we're going to take a quick look back at Good Friday and what happened, and then kind of realize, hey, he is alive, and we're going to celebrate that together. But, yeah, it's going to be great. I would say, we're going to start right at 10 a.m., so make sure you're here either right at 10, very important opening. So,
might I make a suggestion? We hope that some guests will come, and we love that guests come. Be aware to say hi, to welcome them, to make them feel included, even park a little farther away so they can have a front parking spot. Those kind of things are, let's be aware of the people around us and try to welcome them. Yeah,
this is like 10 times the joy of Christmas. Not to disparage your birthday, Chris, but this is bigger than Christmas in my mind when it comes to our faith. So that's what makes it exciting.
Well, I mean, no Christmas, no Easter, but okay.
They definitely go together, yes.
No, I totally agree with you. Because on the same, if it was just Christmas, so what?
Yeah.
So totally. I think what you're saying is we should start doing Easter gifts. That's what I heard. Commercialized. No,
I have an aunt, one of Cheryl's aunts, who sends out Easter letters. You know how you send out Christmas letters? She shifted to Easter. It was kind of neat. So
awesome.
Yeah, I know that there's people that do things like that. But anyways, you're going to tell us something else about it.
I'm just going to dump more work on my wife. No, because she's the one who writes all the cards.
Sheena, do not feel guilty about that. Okay, go ahead.
It's a beautiful thing. No, here's what I want to just add on that in terms of all the stuff going on is we're for Good Friday, there is a pretty fun kids program planned for it. So if you've got kids, all the more reason to be early because you're going to need to sign them in advance. There's a whole sign-in registration desk there. Expect that that's going to take some. I know it's so hard to get all the kids out of. Okay. I have heard it's so. Come on, let's be honest. I'm already here, and Sheena's the one that gets all our kids' places. But I have heard it is so hard to get. I understand. So just give them some Easter chocolate so they get moving. And no, I'm kidding, of course. But expect that. And I know that kids are going to be moving rooms. So that's the other reason. Expect to take some time to register them before the service. They're out the whole time. They're going to start in the gym at Emmanuel. And then very quickly, once the service starts, they're off to another spot. And so that your kids aren't lost or, are able to connect with everything and don't miss out. We'd love to have them.
And what is the ages?
That's a great question. That's birth to grade 5, I think.
Okay, awesome.
Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. There's a nursery, there's a toddler room, and then there's a program for all the elementary age kids.
Awesome.
That's going to be fun, and it's going to be great. Sunday morning we will have our regular class for kids too. Here,
yep.
That'll be here as well, just so that you know if that's on your mind. What happens with my kids on Sunday? So we're working on making sure we got a nursery person yet, but we'll have something. If nothing else, the room will be open that parents can take their kids into if they need to. That's kind of always the backup in case we're stuck. But expect kids program here Sunday morning as well, and it'll be a great weekend for all ages.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think that's all we have for this youth.
Sorry, keep going.
Am I talking to Chris now?
Yeah, we're just so Jeff. There's more going on because we've got youth programs coming up too. I mean, I know it's spring and so much goes into Easter, but on Tuesday.
Thank you. That's why
Tuesday, April. What's going on here? Where's my calendar? Here we go. April 24th is a Monday. We would normally have youth on that Monday. No youth on the 24th because on the 25th, on the Tuesday night, all the youth of West Kelowna are getting together at Emmanuel again because we love Emmanuel and we think we love abusing their building. No, we're not going to abuse it. But they're hosting us again. They've got a lot of room. They can accommodate all the youth of West Kelowna to come and hang out there. That's 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, the 25th of April. I know that for some of the younger youth, 9's late, but I know some of the other youth groups who have more younger youth have told theirs, we're planning it like you could leave at 8:30 if you need to, but come even early because the gym's open, but 7 to 9 p.m., Tuesday the 25th, all the youth of West Kelowna are going to get together and it's going to be a real fun night.
So this Monday, you do have youth?
Yeah, we'll have youth this
Okay.
Monday.
And then the
Yep.
next Monday, and then the next Monday is that?
That is nothing. Yeah,
Nothing
so-
for the, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, sorry, I lost the timeline, so.
That's totally, it gets all confusing, I totally get it. So there
Yeah.
is youth on Monday the 10th, there is youth on Monday the 17th, there's no youth on Monday the 24th because it's Tuesday the
Right.
25th.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yes, yes, no, yes.
And then, and the Tuesday, is that grades 7 to 12? Like,
That's grades 6 to
6 to
12.
12, okay.
Yeah, thanks for
Okay.
clarifying that,
Okay.
because grade 6s are invited to
So
that.
if you have a grade 6 or, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Sorry, I almost cut you off from that. Is there
That's
anything
all right.
else that I missed?
May Camp registration
Oh,
is out
yes.
there, it's online. If you've
Yes.
got youth that want to come to May Camp, if you don't know what May Camp is, email me, call me, and we'll talk.
It's for grades 7 to 12?
7 to
again?
12, yeah.
And I just have to speak to it because I enjoyed it. It's a great time down at Green Bay, and pastors from North American Baptist, pastors from BC, and maybe another
And a
church or
couple
two,
friends.
Yep,
And a couple
are going to
friends.
be there. So
Yeah.
like 150 people down there.
Yeah, we're
Often.
going to try and outdo that this year. We want it to be
Okay.
bigger and better than ever.
So,
but
yeah.
no, it's going to be a good
It's really
weekend.
fun. Yeah,
Great
speakers,
worship leader,
band,
great,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
he's a great speaker. Youth from as far away as Terrace and as near as West Kelowna.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Awesome.
It's good times.
Well, I think that's enough for you to ponder and think about and look forward to. So hope you have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you on Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and God bless you.